Hi, I'm Igor, and welcome to Wealth Chronicles. I've recently started learning how to better manage my own financial situation, the importance of diversifying my income stream, and the value proposition of the stock market. I'd like to share my financial journey, going from zero financial knowledge to better understanding how money works, applying the knowledge, and setting myself up for success. I hope others find it relatable and that they take action to change their lives for the better. I'll be sharing my experiences, insights, and strategies for building sustainable wealth through smart, long-term investments. This video will be an introduction to my first steps of building wealth. With that in mind, let's start with a quick background view on myself. I live in Canada, I'm in my mid-30s, I have a full-time job as a UX designer, and prior to around October 2022, I hadn't invested in anything. I was afraid of dabbling into a world I did not understand. I've heard way too many stories about people losing everything in the stock market, and as a consequence, I ended up avoiding it. Until about 3 months ago, my knowledge of investments was close to zero. However, I did have investments for retirement through my company because of matched contributions. The money was being taken directly from my paychecks and used on a pension plan and company shares. Everything was happening in the background, and while I had honestly no idea about what I was doing, it's one of the best things that I've done without realizing it at the time. I was never great with money, but I wasn't bad either. I've never had debt problems and only financed very few things in my life. I've always held this belief that in most cases, if you cannot pay for something outright, you shouldn't be purchasing that product or service in the first place. And while I never had debt, I never really capitalized on the advantage it brought me. Well, until now. The lesson I learned was act when opportunities are presented. Since I didn't have debt and I was living well within my means, I didn't care much about the rest. I didn't know exactly how much my expenses were, essential or not, how much extra was left, and the amount of taxes I was paying, let alone how to reduce it. The end line here is that if I don't get the basics down, there's no way I'll be prepared to devise any kind of financial strategy for my own future. I've seen so many articles where millennials say they will never be able to retire. And I used to think the same, but if I think about it, I can't possibly give a fair assessment without some financial knowledge. Now, what was the trigger that made me want to finally start looking more closely into my finances? It turns out it was something very small, very silly, but I'm glad it happened. I was having a chat with a friend. He knew someone who had started a business that was taking off quite well, and in a joking tone, I said if they ever go public, let me know. I would love to invest $30,000 in a business. My friend replied, Igor, you don't have $30,000. To which I responded, I don't know. And that's when it hit me. That single comment ignited a shift in my perspective, pushed me out of my comfort zone, and spurred me into action. I started reading financial articles and watching one video after another. One of the first things I realized was that I had no goals. How can I trace a path without a destination? And so, I thought of what was important to me and what my goals would be, how to achieve them, the timelines I should strive for, and how to measure success. I came up with 6 goals for the next 5 years. 1. I want to continue increasing my financial knowledge so I can make smart investment decisions. 2. I want 3 to 4 income streams so I'm not entirely reliant on my day job. 3. I want to have a safety net to afford my living expenses for a year so I don't need to worry about emergencies. 4. I want my investment portfolio to reach $100 so I can take advantage of higher compound interests. 5. I want to plan better where the money I earn is spent without being overly zealous about it so I can still enjoy my daily life. 6. I want to focus my time and effort on what brings value to my life. Now that I know where I want to be in 5 years, what am I going to do about it? Turns out I have already started. I am learning daily through watching videos, reading articles, books, news, taking a look at the stock market, and asking a billion questions to AI every time I come across anything I don't understand. This addresses my first goal, to deepen my financial knowledge. I also checked my current investments, called the people that could help me understand them, and read all the details I've skipped before. In the end, I rebalanced everything in my pension plan with my employer. I've researched different investment accounts available in Canada. I've researched online brokers and opened a TFSA and RRSP with one of them, and liquidated a low-risk mutual fund I started a while ago through my bank, moving the money to the online broker, where I now am building the rest of my portfolio. That takes care of my second and third goals, since future capital gains over stock value appreciation and dividend payouts would provide me with a second stream of income in the future. Even this YouTube channel could potentially help if I can find an audience. To address my fourth goal, I started writing down all major expenses I had incurred on non-essential items in the last 5 years. That gave me a good idea of how much money I could have saved and invested. Knowing my past expenses allowed me to create a budget system that works well within my current income. Needless to say, the monthly capital being allocated to my investments has increased considerably. About the fifth goal, I defined what really brings value to my life, so I can cut back on anything that is not so important. For the final goal, I always have $5,000 minimum in my checking account, so there are no fees associated with keeping the account running. And I purchased a GIC, which is a cash equivalent that matures every 100 days and has a return rate of about 4%, so the emergency money is always available if needed. I have enough for half a year of living expenses, but still need to save for another 6 months. The title of this video is Starting a New Life, and that's precisely how I view it. I'm fundamentally reshaping my mindset on money and how I work with it. This change is to ensure I don't face a future where retirement, providing for loved ones, or pursuing personal interests is hindered by financial insecurity. I invite you all to also start learning more about investments and the types of investment accounts that can be beneficial to you. I know that in Canada and in the US, there are multiple accounts that either let you grow your investment tax-free or that defer tax on the money you invest until you withdraw during retirement, when you are likely to be in a lower tax bracket. Well, that covers most of it for now, and if you like the proposition behind this channel, stick around, and hopefully you'll be starting with your investments in no time. By watching my videos, you'll be able to see how my portfolio grows over time, my learnings, and any insights I may have on building wealth. See you soon.